Welcome into another edition of Nets Pod presented by Ticketmaster. I'm Sarah Kustok and I'm joined, Chicago. We got some more Chicago in the house. NBA All-Star, truly a legend of the game, Juwan Howard, and of course an assistant coach with the Brooklyn Nets. But yeah, it's great to see you. It's great to be here with you. Certainly appreciate your time, and we've appreciated having you here with this Brooklyn organization on staff. I first, though, Juwan, want you to take me back to your time as a player. Part of the Fab Five. You've got NBA championships, NBA All-Star, number 5 overall pick.
Oh, stop.
Extraordinary career. The list goes on and on. But when you are coaching and watching these guys, what do you remember most about being a player? What stands out most to you about your time when you were lacing it up?
Well, first I want to say thank you for having me, and I'm honored to be here. Also, I'm very honored to be a part of the Brooklyn Nets organization. But to answer your question, just thinking back to my days playing, and I've always really loved playing basketball. It was always my passion, and I enjoy the competitiveness of the sport. And so, going back to that, someone asked me "Do you miss playing today?" I miss that part of the being. Right in the action and competing against some of the best players in the world, and also you enjoy winning.
Yeah.
So with that, it brought me to why I'm doing what I'm doing. Why am I coaching? And you may have wanted to ask that question later on, but
no,
I'll
get into
right
it.
To it.
Get into it. When did you know? How did you know?
Yeah, I started to really catch the bug towards my end of my career, obviously, but it was my 16th year in the NBA.
Okay.
And I was playing for the Portland Trail Blazers. And I never forgot this moment where I was having a meeting with Nate McMillan. And Nate and I developed a really good relationship, and I had a ton of respect for him, and I really enjoyed playing for him. I loved his coaching style, and we were just talking about the game of basketball, about what I want to do after, and do I enjoy the teaching part of it, and I started to think for a second. I said, you know what, my first dream and thoughts was to be in management. I wanted to be a GM someday. I always said GM. I want to be a GM. I want to be in front office. And then when I was talking to Nate, and Nate was talking about his times with George Karl and how he was able to sit in on some of the coaches' meetings, and how the strategic part of game planning really fascinated him, and I was like, damn, that sounds like me, because I didn't sit in your meetings, or nor do I want to sit in the coaches' meetings, because I did not want the players to think okay, well, one of our teammates is in the coaches' meetings, and he's talking to the coaches, has developed this relationship. How would I be perceived in the locker room? And I never wanted to be that guy that my teammates felt they did not feel comfortable in trusting me, especially that relationship part matters to me so much. So the love and passion of the game started to really hit in my system, as far as, damn, these coaches work hard. They do an amazing job of planning and teaching us and getting us prepared for our opponents. And I started to dive into more, and asking him questions about how much film does he watch, what time does he get up in the morning, how late does he stay in the facility, and that never been a part of hard work. That was what my game was all about when I was playing, and hard work is what I was instilled to learn as a young boy living in Chicago. And so when he talked about, hey, it's not for everyone, that really got me pumped. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to coach.
If it's not for everyone, then it's for you.
It's for me.
I appreciate that. You mentioned that there's so much to get into with you as a player, but just your trajectory and transition of being a star. We can't walk into an arena, a hotel, anywhere without someone trying to take a selfie with you, picture with you, shake your hand. I mean this. You truly are a legend of the game and everything you accomplished. But you being a superstar and the transition that you made of understanding the role you needed to play on different teams to win, How were you able to approach whatever the role was needed, whatever the team needed, whatever it was that you were intended to do to help that, in what it felt like from the outside, a really, really seamless, fluid way?
Well, I've always been all about winning, and I just want to win in everything that I do. And so when I went on to college, I could have gone to like any school, and fortunate enough, I was recruited by some of the best, Division I universities in this country. And with saying that, I chose Michigan for a reason because, I felt it was the best place for me, with the academics and not far from Chicago and playing in the Big Ten. And then I didn't fear the fact that if they was going to recruit, which I knew they needed to, have more talent, surround me, that I wasn't trying to go there to be the featured guy. Now, if I need to, to have that role, that responsibility, I had no problems filling those shoes. But I said, hey, I want to win championships. And that's when I started recruiting like Chris Webber and, Jimmy King and Ray Jackson. And then Chris and I, talked about Jalen Rose. And so that right there was that all built on a talented group. But with all the talent, you had to have people that sacrifice for winning. And you had to have someone who's going to take a role, whether it's a backseat of less shots, less minutes, wherever it is. But if you're all about the right things, then you have no problem. It doesn't make you uncomfortable while doing it. And that carried over into my NBA career. My NBA career was all about, I just want to win a championship. I want to get to the playoffs every year. And it didn't happen that way. And those years when we did not make the playoffs, I was truly disappointed, hurt, depressed, you name it. The time when we first made it to the finals, when I joined up with the Miami Heat and we lost to the Dallas Mavericks, and when I was in the rotation, I was like, damn, here it is. Like, I finally got there and, didn't finish and didn't win the big one. And again, thinking back to my college days, and this is how I'm wired, I'm like, I lost two, NCAA championships. You know where I'm going with this. I lost two NCAA championships in college. I lost in the NBA. I'm like, damn, am I a loser? Does losing follow me? And with that, the next year, we ended up winning a title. And the year after that, won two NBA titles in a row. I was so happy. It was just gratifying. But I was able to, have different roles in the NBA of being the franchise player to the third best player on the team to being, the fourth option with Dallas, and then going back and then in Miami, like at times you're playing, you're suiting up, and then there are times when you're in a suit and you're just like, hey, waiting, cheering, being supportive to your teammates, wherever role that was in the NBA, I was able to experience it.
How did winning twice, but how did winning a title compare to how you anticipated what it would feel like?
Yes, great question. So the first year we won, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to react. I watched it on TV where some of my teammates or former teammates or, other teams that, I witnessed win it, where there's champagne that's being poured all over the teammate's head, or, champagne sprayed in your eyes, some wear gargles. I said the first year, I'm not going to put any gargles on. I want to feel the champagne.
Let it sting.
I want to see what it feels like. And I also want to taste it. So I got a chance to experience both. And that was a blessing. And I will never forget that day. I still have the champagne bottle. I still have the photos. And the second time, after we were able to experience it the first year, now I said the second time, whatever happens, happens. And so during those moments when you get on the stage and you take the picture, you take a big team picture, and it's like, wow, that's that photo that's going to stick out there in the world forever. You're going to see that when you grow old with the game. But you also want to make sure you get that right smile.
Yeah, you certainly did. How did your adaptability, I think so often a former player can resonate with players now just because you've been in their shoes, you played the game, but how did your adaptability in so many roles, in winning and losing, experiencing so many vastly different things, opportunities, how does that help you now as a coach be able to relate to guys, relate to players? I know this next season is a challenging one. How did all of those moments come together to allow you to connect even more so with players?
I think maybe the Michigan Fab Five documentary it's really has helped like this generation of players,
Yeah.
where they're able to tune in on Netflix or on ESPN and just see like my backstory on
Yeah.
how I grew up and then also my college days and then for those who didn't get an opportunity to see me play. I mean, I'm speaking of today's players. They can go on YouTube and go see some highlights. But with saying that, I never stick my chest out and say, hey, I've done it. I know how to do it, and I may have been better than you and better than you now. I'm never going to take that approach. I'm humbled, and more importantly, just the gratitude of having the opportunity to work with today's youth. It's gratifying. It really is. Just to see the work that they put in, how skillful they are, and then just building a relationship piece matters to me more than anything. I really like enjoy the relationships with players that I've coached before. My first time when I was coaching with the Miami Heat, working with Bam, Hassan Whiteside, James Johnson, and more others that I keep naming. But still to this day, we have great relationship.
What players that you've coached and or teammates, discluding anyone from this current Brooklyn Nets section, maybe taught you the most, or something that sticks out that you think about often throughout the course of your coaching?
Yes, that's a great question. I would say Hassan Whiteside.
Yeah.
Hassan Whiteside, extremely talented big fella. And, he's had, played for different teams and had success with Sacramento and played for Portland and obviously played for Miami. And, he was perceived as a player who did not get along very well with his coaching staff and not every team he's been on. I just put it like this, and I'll give you a short version. That I never judged Hassan on wherever someone else told me what kind of person he is or their experience with him. Now, I remember, but I take notes of that, but I judged Hassan on our relationship and our relationship was so pure. And he respected me. I gave him a ton of respect. I really enjoyed working with him in the gym. He worked hard at times when we worked together. He respected me and trusted me, and that right there really helped me become a better coach. There were times when I told him just, I had to be vulnerable and like, hey, I don't know everything, and I don't. When times I didn't know the answer to some questions he asked, I said, I'll go find it. But your success is based on the work you put in and how badly you want it. And I'm not going to be the one cheering and saying, hey, I did it because of, the results shows that you, of course, have got a big contract, you played at all-star level, and you got better each year. That was because of you.
Talk to me about the two of the bigs you work with now with
Right,
Brooklyn Nets
right.
on a daily basis, who we've seen just absolutely flourish and having tremendous years. Sharpe, Nick Claxton. First, if we ask Day'Ron what one of the most important things you have taught him is, what do you think he said?
That's a great question. Patience.
That's what he said.
He did?
Yes. He said patience.
Really?
He said patience. He was talking about when he catches the ball, taking his time, embracing the contact, but he said patience. Wow. I think you got a good student, a good teacher. Talk to me a little bit more about how you have tried to instill that in him and in the growth you've seen from him through the course of your time with him.
Yeah, so last year when I first got hired, I asked the video guys, I went in the video room and I said, hey, can you please put on my laptop, I asked for 6 of Dayron's games. Give me 3 really good ones that he had, best numbers, played well, and give me 3 games where he struggled. And it may have been a little bit more, maybe like 4 and 4. And I just watched those games, took notes, because I wanted to get to understand the player. And then, I looked at the analytics, asked the analytics to, just give me some of his numbers on, Dayron finishing in the paint, or what the numbers look like there. I knew he rebounded extremely well on the offensive end. I also wanted to get his defensive rebounding numbers. I wanted to get his numbers versus some of the better bigs in our league. And then it was based on also his minutes, because given the benefit of the doubt, like, you're only in there for 5 minutes.
Right.
There's only so much you can do to impact the game. And I knew Dayron a little bit from his time when he was playing high school ball at Mount Verde, because I was recruiting a high school kid that was one of his teammates at Mount Verde. And with that, Dayron, I looked and saw that there was a part of his game that really we need to work on and improve on, and that was his finishing in the paint. I say, offensive rebounding, when he gets the ball, sometimes he rushes his shot. And there are times when he's off balance. There are times when he's trying to score with a smaller player that he struggled with. And I'm wondering, like, why is that? Like, why he can't finish? And I'm looking at his foot position. I'm looking at how his body is going east and west, falling back, and he's trying to shoot the ball. Or I'm looking at, our players like giving him contact from the lower part of his, waist or his legs, or like what is it? And I noticed that Dayron, when he got the ball, he just was in such of a rush to score it. And with that, we just showed him film. We talked about it, and we worked on just whether it was myself, giving him contact when he gets offensive rebound, whether it was me and one of the assistant coaches, doubling him in the post and working on his crab dribble and taking his time. And then let's get back to his crab dribble, like in the post. We're still continue, and we'll always continue to work on just Dayron taking his time on moving the defender more to the front of the basket instead of trying to move. He's going like away, falling away from the basket, and he's going more towards, I would say, north and south than east and west. And east and west means basically going towards the sideline, and that direction, sometimes it forces you to have to make a tougher shot.
Yeah.
And so with Dayron, he embraced that, and we work on it a lot. We work on it, I would say, pretty much 3 to 4 days a week. And that's various moves and footwork and different shots and different finishes. And I really love the fact that he comes on time. He's super professional. He wants to get better. And I enjoy that. I see the excitement in his face. There are times, too, where he's tired, and I get that part because he's human. And those days when he's tired, I allow him to gradually get his energy level up, and then when he's ready to take it full throttle, we get into it.
How do you describe his personality?
Funny, hilarious, and he's a joy to work with. I mean, he's a joy to be around.
Nothing compares to catching your Brooklyn Nets live, and nobody knows that better than you. Nets fans, it all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Nets and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you could experience all the sights, sounds, and styles in person. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Nets tickets at Ticketmaster. Even if you're headed to the game last minute, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com/Nets.
All right, so if I asked you the same thing about Nick, we asked Nick one of the most important things that you have worked on with him and taught him. What do you think he said?
Nick, that's a graph K. Let's see. Getting the ball off the palm of his hands. Sometimes when he shoots it, the ball, whether it's a short roll or a jump hook, the ball releases off the palm, he pushes it. So I'm trying to get him more of allowing his fingers to be the last thing that
I feel like he's working with you on there. He was talking about overall his finishing.
Yes.
And making contact, getting his shoulder in defender, being physical on drives. What has stood out
That's
most
another one.
to you about Nick? We see him, we get an opportunity, both him and Dave, watch their games, watch those minutes, but you see him in the moments where it's quiet, no one else is around, you're just working with him. What stands out most about the type of player that Nick has become and what he could be?
Yeah, so Nick is more of a student of the game. And what I mean by that is, like, when I give him information, he sit there, he analyzes it, thinks about it, and I love the input that he gives back.
Yeah.
Because it's a collaboration. And I always tell him, like, hey, we want to, and we're doing this together, so what are you thinking? What are your thoughts? And when I say something, I can just see his brain is working. And I'm seeing so much growth in his game from last year to this year. And I know people always been talking about, Michael Porter Jr., which he's playing great for us and at the all-star level. But there are moments when Nick, he plays at all-star level too. And he can get there. And I said to him last summer, our goal, I say our goal because I feel like, I'm in the trenches with you, my man. And not saying that like your success is gonna be my success, but I'm saying basically, like anytime you have a bad game, I take ownership of that. Anytime you have a good game, that's your good game. That's because of you. And then when it comes to like playing against some of the tougher opponents, like defending them, like I feel like he can be one of the best defenders in our league, and his goal is to be a defensive player of the year because of his athleticism, as well as his ability to protect the rim, to switch on to perimeters, and at that size, that's tough to do, especially with these good, talented guards that they have today in today's game. And Nick has proven that he can keep his chest in front. He has proven that he can be one of the best defenders, and that's the next jump.
How have you seen the role of bigs, the play of bigs evolve or change, adjust since when you were playing in the league?
Well, I've seen like now the bigs has to be able to shoot the three-point ball. Shooting the three they're working on it. It's a part of the game. It's also one of the things that a lot of teams stresses, that every guy on the floor, they would love to have everyone on the floor be able to shoot the three. Yeah. And back when I was playing, it was more like back towards the basket. Now bigs are able to handle the basketball. The offense goes through them at 5 out, where they're the decision maker on DHOs, or they're the decision maker when it comes.
You got Nick putting up triple doubles. So I mean, look at that.
No, that's Coach Jordi. Coach Jordi has really put Nick in a position to really be successful, and Nick has embraced it.
Well, you talk about that, and I know we do use Jordi's name a lot as the head coach. But we all say it all the time. It is a collection of your entire coaching staff. There is a vibe, an energy, a connectivity that you could feel, and it is infiltrated the entire culture of what the Brooklyn Nets are, the organization. There is no denying it. And those on the inside, those on the outside see it and feel it. For you being on the inside, what is that secret sauce? Like, what is it about Jordi, about your staff, that has built this type of foundation?
Well, it starts at the top. It starts with our owner Joe, and then Sean. It goes right to Sean, and those two have really found the right coach to lead. And I say the other coaches was not the right coaches before. They'd done their job, and they've done a really good job with the organization. But the guy that I know who I've been working with the last 2 years, this is the right coach for this organization. And Sean knows it, and Sean made the hire. And
What makes Jordi special?
his personality, he's also smart, and he's selfless. And not many coaches, I'm thinking, I haven't worked for a lot, Spo was really good with this too, but he's developing his staff to be head coaches. And what I mean by that is the responsibilities that we all have, we feel that we are collectively really helping, drive this culture. We are growing as a staff as well, and we helping these players get better because we have trust in our head coach. And I'm sure assembling a staff on the NBA level is hard, and the type of people that he hired, it's been great. And it's been consistently that way. It hasn't been like any bad days. And we've had like some tough times with like where you lose 3 in a row, or you win 1 and then you may lose 4 out of the next 5, and how are we going to react the next day? And our staff is so connected. And it's because of our head coach, because we believe in his message. We drive home his message. It trickled down to our players. Our players believe in it. And we're going to be better. Our job is to get better each and every day.
Last thing for you before I have a little game for you.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, how do you, and you as a staff, you as a team, how do you characterize what success will look like for you this season?
Well, every day our goal is to get 1% better. And, with our young guys, we have 5 rookies who've been, in the lineup, playing, some really good minutes. They've been growing in those minutes. They also been bought in practice. Then we also have the young veterans who've been help leading, and they have been professionals throughout the whole entire process. Some have been in and out of the rotation, in the starting lineup. Yeah. But whenever their name called on, they're ready to play. And then we have the veterans, and veterans nowadays are like 6 years in.
You're calling 25-year-olds vets.
Right. So our veterans, they've been, excellent leaders, for the entire group, and also have been very positive as well. Because I've seen it where, you're not at the top of the league, or you're a team that's, fighting and clawing and scratching, and sometimes you have inconsistent success, and guys will come in and they're not dialed in. They're just, just being selfish on their entire approach. Yeah. But that hasn't been like that here with this team, so we're trending in the right direction.
Well, we've enjoyed it. We love it. We enjoy being around you, that's for sure. We are going to play Hot Ticket, presented by Ticketmaster. Experience your Nets live with Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Brooklyn Nets. Juwan, we're going to have you list from, I guess, least hard to hardest. Who are your top 5 hardest players to defend?
When I played?
When you played. Who you had to guard.
You're going to get me in trouble. Some of them guys out there are going to be talking trash on their podcast.
They're going to make you have to come out and guard them again.
Right. Well, I'll go with Kevin Garnett, 5.
Why? Tell me quick. We can understand partially, but for you, face-to-face with him,
Kevin Garnett,
what made him so tough?
Yeah, he's super talented dude, great footwork, can shoot, long, athletic, play with tons of energy, very skillful. And
did you do a lot of talking with him?
No, I didn't do a lot of talking. We did not do a lot of talking towards one another.
Okay.
That's the respect that we have for each other.
Okay, I like that. Number 4.
Number 4, Chris Webber.
Oh, okay.
Chris Webber, when he played for Sacramento. And, another skillful guy can play the 4 to 5, athletic, strong, tough. I would go with number 3, Karl Malone.
Mailman.
Mailman.
Give us a little more on that. What was that like?
Yeah, Mailman, like Now that I'm retired, I can say like I was a big fan of Mailman growing up. I would never tell him that when we played against one another. But I had so much respect for his career. When I was out there on the court against him, I was never fanboying him.
Right.
I was, a guy that was not going to let him outwork me. I knew that every possession he was going to touch the ball, so I had to bring my energy. I had to get rest the night before. I knew I had to hit the weight room.
Yeah.
And also I knew that playing against Carl, that he was going to smack my hand on my arm really hard to see if I was going to go to the free throw line.
Yeah.
Like complaining or showing the effects that it hurt. So
Yeah.
I was making sure that nothing like that happened.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2, Grant Hill.
Okay, yeah.
Grant Hill, I played the 3, I played the 4 and the 5 in my career. So I had to guard Grant when he was playing for the Detroit Pistons. And that was before he had his injury.
Yes.
And Grant was a tough guard. He's played the guard position at a high level. He was super quick, athletic, had the crossover dribbled, the hezzy pull-up. Doug Collins has some amazing sets for him. Sometimes you clear you out and you feel like you're on an island by yourself with no help behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had that quick first step too.
What could have been without those injuries? Number 1.
Charles Barkley. And I say Charles, another power forward who I grew up watching and emulating. But Charles was 6'6" on a good day.
Yeah.
But strong, had a girth, can hardly move him out of the paint. Very crafty, tough. Charles also at that time was still athletic when I first came in the league. And I think I may have fouled out my first time guarding him my rookie year. Yeah. But Charles Barkley. And then also I really enjoyed like his shoes growing up. Like I never tell him this until now, but I thought he had the best Nikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last question before we wrap this. What's it like seeing your son coaching? I know you're on the other bench, but just watching, the fact they're both on an NBA court, NBA game, the highest of levels. What's that experience like for you when you're seeing him out there?
I'm nervous.
Really?
Yeah, I try not to look like I'm nervous, or maybe I am. You can see it, but I'm so happy for my son. I'm a proud dad, and that's a proud dad moment because we would never get this time ever again. And it's special because, as you and I both know, making it to the NBA is so hard. And there are so many young men that's super talented that may be better than you or whatever, but you put in that work. And I watched him grow from day one, and I knew how much he loved the game of basketball. And this is a kid that I didn't force the game on him. We bought a hoop, like you do as a dad, and just see you show him baseball, you put soccer in front of him, you put football in front of him, and I'm like, you're gonna play a sport growing up, and if you decide that you want to take that sport to another level, make it a career, then that's you. Now I'm gonna help you. And with that, he chose basketball, and basketball, he has really put that work into to give himself a chance. And then when he got to the high school level, and I started seeing that, wow, this kid really knows how to play, got a great feel for the game, and we used to sit down and we watch film on his games, and I saw the student part in his head, and I seen the collaboration of communication of him saying certain things that he saw out on the floor and how he can do this, and some of the suggestions and ideas that he was coming up with, and how his game started to really match with his mouth, and then I saw the toughness part of it as well, and I'm like, college. Then I got a chance to coach him in college for that 1 year at Michigan, and I thought he was going to at least play 2 years. And that 1 year he took off and did well for himself. So now I'm coaching against them, and I got to go give the report on Orlando, and I got to tell them about Jet, and I'm like, damn, this is weird. Oh, wow. And I'll never forget, he shot that 1-3 in front of our bench, and right in front of me when he got in at the end of the game, and I told him, I said, yo, he can shoot the ball. I told the team, and you got to get out there to him, and they left him open. He knocked it down, and I was like, wow, that's pretty good. That's a good shot. I'm impressed, Jet. But then this past season, it's been like one of those up and down seasons for him where he's in a rotation, he's out of rotation. But I love the way how he's handling himself as a professional, staying ready and waiting on his name to be called. And, watching him just play against us in Brooklyn, that was a very special moment.
Well, he's a reflection of you. And I always tell people, the professional aside, you're one of the best human beings. So we appreciate having you around. We appreciate your time here.
Thank you.
On the podcast, this has been another edition of NetSpot with Sarah Kustok, presented by Ticketmaster. Don't forget, you can lock into the Nets YouTube channel to see any other episodes, as well as catching it anywhere you subscribe to your podcast. Until next time, we'll see you then.